peace and religion. Your field is religion, comparative religion.
Comparative religion.
But you still say you are an Orthodox Christian.
I was born into the Christian faith. My parents were missionaries in China, and in all my studies of the other tradition, I have not found any that was superior to the faith that I was born in.
Orthodox Christian, as you call it. For me, for you looking at the world of religion, it feels like you're looking from the inside out. Is that correct?
I would say that that is correct. I was born into a religious home. My parents were Methodist missionaries, Protestant missionaries in China. And for me, that was we were the only Westerners in the town where I grew up. For me, the experience was altogether positive. Now, many of my students, I call them wounded Christians or wounded Jews because their experience with the church was not good, and it set them off, put their teeth on edge, you might say. But mine was very different. It was altogether positive. What seems to come through to the wounded Christians or the wounded Jews is dogmatism, and we have the truth and nobody else does, and moralism, don't do this, don't do this, and so on. And that turns them against it. But for me, what came through was that we were in good hands, and in gratitude for that, we should bear one another's burdens. We should help each other. And in all my circlings of the globe, looking into the other major faiths of the world, I have not found anything which in simplified form contradicts that or is better than that. And therefore, naturally, I have just stayed in the tradition into which I was born. However, I'd be the last one to claim that there is anything within that tradition which is superior to the other enduring, as I like to call them, wisdom traditions of the world.
So these are all languages to talk to God?
True, they are the classical languages of the human spirit. That's a good, I'm glad you brought in the word language. Exactly that.
Do you think the new language of cyberspace, where people communicate with each other through the computer and with the computer, is also a way to God?
Well, when the wireless was first invented, I think H.G. Wells it was who said, "Isn't it ironic that just at the time when we can talk with anyone around the world, we find ourselves with nothing to say?" And I think that is a very good point, because it stresses and underlines the fact that technology is only a means. It has nothing to do with content. So cyberspace and these communications, instant communications all around the world, super highways, things like that, are only vehicles. Have we anything to put into those vehicles to transport? That is the question.
That is actually the question with the internet, with all this World Wide Web, global library. What is on it?
I'm very glad we're touching on this, because my next book actually will be on the Native American church in the United States. So
what we call the Indians here.
Indians, yes. And so I've spent the last year with the Indians and working and writing for this book, which will be out in October. And in the course of doing that, I learned something, I saw something which had not occurred to me. That is that I had always thought that the tribal, exclusively oral people who do not have writing, that they were somehow inferior, because we speak as we do now, but we also have writing. And so we have everything they have and more. I have come come to think differently. I have come to see that writing adds to speaking. We know about that. To have the cumulative written record of the human race is very enriching. So it does add, but what I had not seen before, it also subtracts. Now, what does it take away? And the answer is the knowledge of what is important. Now, let me make that point in this way. If we imagine a tribal group, no writing, around their campfire at night, everything those people have learned through their ancestors who learned it through trial and error, everything the tribe knows is in the heads of the people around the campfire. Don't you know that they would be constantly rehearsing what is important, what herbs have medicinal value, and also the great myths that their ancestors handed down that gave them the sense of the purpose of life and the meaning of life would always be in focus, and trivia would just die out like natural selection because there's just not room for trivia. Now contrast that with my library that serves me. The University of California Library is one of the great library systems in the world. But when I go through interlibrary loan, it locks in with other systems, and as they told me when I went on the first orienting tour, when you come to this library looking for a book, think it's here. It may take us a little while to find it, but it's here. And that's virtually true. But if I go into the elevator onto the 5th floor, I may say signs, chemistry here, history here, literature here. But where is the sign that reads importance? What is important?
Wisdom.
Or wisdom. Very good. Much less wisdom. No, it's more like, well, good luck, folks. Here it all is. See, what I'm talking about is information overload. So we've never been so informed. Humanity has never been so informed and more confused as to what is important, because a book is a book and it can be traced, but it's still cataloged.
Well, what I say is there's a difference between data and information. And data only becomes information if the bit bites. If a bit bites, which means changes something, then it becomes information. If it's a data mountain, what can we do with it? We can look at it and...
Yeah, but we can't stop with information. We've got now 4 things. We've got data, we've got information, we've got knowledge, we've got wisdom. T.S. Eliot said it in 2 lines. Where is the knowledge that is lost in information? Where is the wisdom that is lost in knowledge?
I wrote, wisdom is not knowing, but feeling the truth. Both. I don't think it's an either or. You're right in saying that if it's just barren, and then it's just wheel spinning of the neurons and so on. So there must be feeling, but there must be knowing too, because feeling, if you leave it at that, it is only sentiment. It may be a high, an emotional high, or something like that. But then we have to have knowledge to discriminate between whether our feelings are appropriate or we're just on some kind of a jag, blissed out on cloud 9, you know, sitting around thinking, oh, I am so holy, enlightened, and noble, leaving other people to do the dishes.